Today's channel. Elizabeth here, trying a new setup in my new studio. So we're going to be experimenting with a couple of different layouts and things like this. So this is like the third one I've had so far. I kind of like this. I've got 3 cameras going, so I've got one for me to talk to, and then 2 capturing the desk, one so that those little tight areas we can see a little bit better, as well as the full overhead so that you can see it. So for the first thing, I thought I would jump into a review. Now this review is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the ones I've done, mainly because it's taken a really long time to put together. I actually started this review back in March, so it's been going for a while, trying to do some things off camera. I tried to do some things recording, sadly lost files in the move, which happens from time to time. So the piece that I've got on my desk right now, we lost quite a bit of that footage. So I have some of me doing it, but I'm going to go through the review and why I'm even doing this review, because that's an interesting story in and of itself. So I like getting the Hirschner's catalog and things like that from time to time. I did some beaded stockings for my kids for Christmas. It's fun. It's kind of kitschy. They're easy crafts, nothing too terribly difficult, but there was a picture on one of them that caught my eye. And I was like, this can't be real. So I'm like, we're going to have to test this out, because there is no way that a paint by number looks like this. I was like, but you know, I was like secretly hoping it really would. So I ordered several kits. Now, the first thing I did while I was waiting for them to arrive, now I'm going to take this off my desk for just a second here, is that I ordered this lovely, or I didn't order, I went to my local store and got it. Now the color scheme is very similar to the ones that I've got here. I did it, it just got it at JoAnn's. It was like $14. It's not an expensive thing. You can see it right here. Now, rather than doing the blending, because they have a blending thing that they want you to do, I was trying to follow like the same procedures that would keep it the same throughout all of them, and the others do not ask you to do blending like that. And I kind of did a little research, but I was waiting for them to come. So I knew that that wasn't going to be a thing, so rather than blend it, I did this as solid color, which I enjoy. Now, this kit did make me have to blend paint to paint with it. So I did have to like come up with, like I had to get out my palette, I had to say equal numbers of, you know, A and B, and then put them together. And I would use my open thinner, which is right here, to help it run a little bit longer, which is nice to have that so that you can work with it. But here, real quick, let's go through a couple of things. Looking at this, I love the color. I love the bright colors. Coverage issues. Any of these light colors, they just, it took coat after coat after coat. All of these have taken coat after coat after coat. You can still see it's not like good solid coverage, and it was just work, work, work. Tried to get it there. I think I ended up putting in like 3 or 4 coats. I put in at least, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks on this one, just trying to get all of that coverage. Now, it wasn't solid. That was part-time 3 weeks. The next one I got, now the one that I saw in the ad, Pink Picasso, I think is the name of it. Right here. Yes, Pink Picasso. This came in this lovely tube right here. You can see this picture on the front. This is the picture that was in the catalog that I'm like, we need to try this. It says it's a 20-hour project. 20 hours is very optimistic. If it had taken me 20 hours, wow, it would have been done really, really fast. I honestly, guys, I worked on this, and I'll bring it back up here. I worked on this guy for 2 months. No fooling. You know, just trying to get coverage and coverage and coverage, because the numbers kept poking through, or it looked really blotchy. It wasn't laying well. And it came with paints, good paints right here. I will say that the soft brushes that it came with and the paint combination, because these were really soft, and the paint, to the best way for me to describe it, it felt fluffy. And so trying to get it into some of the spots was a little difficult. Now I went through to secondary and third colors. I did use my open thinner again. I am glad I did. I didn't want the paints to dry out, number one, while I was using them, because I was going through and it was taking so much longer than what I thought it would take. But it also gave some of these a little bit better consistency to get coverage. So rather than leaving blotchy effects, I was able to get a little bit smoother, a little bit smoother, a little bit smoother. So it took forever. Now, take into account, I was also moving during this time and trying to get that together. So it is what it is. Now, you see the finished image on this one. Is it that picture broken? I'm going to say it's not the picture that they have on the front. Now, they did include a reference picture right here. it looks like the reference picture that came. I will say 100%, it looks like this reference picture. So that is where it kind of fell short. Now I did order another one. We'll get to that in just a second, but I want to look at the brushes here. It came with 4 brushes. You can order a set of brushes online that I'm sure are nicer. I wanted to make sure that I followed the instructions that it came with, as it came with, so I was using the brushes that it came with. Okay, I'll give you guys an idea because I lost the footage that showed this when I opened it out of package. It looked exactly like this. I'm glad it came with this part right here. It made it easier sometimes finding some pieces and doing like a double check, especially once you've got a couple of colors on. It's like, what was that one again? I don't really remember. But with this, it made it easy to go back and double check. But it looked exactly like this. They were dark numbers on here. They were black numbers. So covering up to cover those black numbers was difficult. It didn't, especially, it took coat after coat after coat, and I can still see some of the lines coming through. And I finally just had to call it. I was like, I can't devote any more time to this. I think I have given it the good old college try on this. So this is this one from Pink Picasso. Now the other one I have to look and see. It's been so long. I don't remember the brand. The one thing it has that is very different is it comes with more colors. So it's a little, or brighter colors. It doesn't that it comes with more colors. The colors are brighter. And rather than being together, they are separate. So let's go ahead and we'll pull these out. I'll show you. They come with the little stickers right here to put on the pots. So you can see we've got all of these pots here. I like that they're separate. Some of the ones on the other one were a little difficult to open. I just think that this will make it a little bit easier when I'm going through and doing these. I've got a nice little swatch, and my preview picture is only this big. Let's do it. Here, we'll get the other one. Comparison. This is the preview of this one and this one. So they're a little different. So I will say this one's a lot more usable. This one is like, well, make sure these are the paints that go with this one, I guess. So it didn't come in a protected cylinder like the other one. It came in just a simple Amazon little wrap, the little bubble wrap. But look at the difference here. See this way. This one is vertical instead of horizontal too. Not that it really matters. You could do it this way just as easily as you could do it the other way. But this canvas, as you can see, is tinted, and I'm really curious as to whether a tinted canvas will yield a better result. That I'm not going to have to do with many coats because this one's basically tinted. Will it save time because, I can kind of see what colors go where because of the tinting. I'm not having to hunt as much, so I'm really, really, really curious with this. The brushes in this set, let's look at the 2 brushes here. Grab them back here. So you can see the brushes that this one came with. These brushes look nicer. Now one of them was a little bit messed up when it came in this set, so I used it for cleanup rather than detail work. But I don't know if these are gonna, even though they look cheap, they've got that, I'm not kids art project kind of plastic handle going on here. But they're really, really nice. And then I don't know what they expect me to mount this to. It came with screws and the hooks. And this is just canvas. I have no idea how they expect me to mount this with what it came with. But it came with some mounting hardware. Go figure on that. So let's see. Let's get you out and we'll see, kind of do a finger test here real quick and see how it feels. It feels a little more firm. No, now it's softening up a bit. It feels about the same. The tip looks a little bit nicer on this one. They're very, very similar. Are these 2 the same brush? I think it is 2 of the same. If anything, this one may be a hair finer, or it could just be the bristles are not as well put in. But hard to tell right there. Now, I do have backup brushes that if this goes horrible, I can jump in on that. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes. I will probably come back a little bit later this evening to start, and we'll see how this feels, but I want to let this relax for a few minutes because otherwise I'm going to be fighting this the whole time. So we're going to flip you over and let you sit, and then we'll see how these paints feel. So this didn't go at all how I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be reviewing the Pink Picasso, which you can see right here. Looks pretty good. Everything, I mean, it doesn't look like the photo. Let's be honest. It looks like the reference that they sent right here that shows how it's going to look. It doesn't look like the photograph at all that was in the catalog, things like that. It's got a lot of color block, kind of color versus like the smooth. It's not photorealistic. But overall, it's a good composition. Let's be honest. It looks pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with the way it looks. Coverage could have been a little better. Again, the paint wasn't the greatest, but the finished product, pretty good. Price point was a little bit pricey. I'll put the price down below. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was, I spent over $50 on the order as a whole, but I think that included shipping and things. So here again are all the paints that it came with. You can see these. I'm going to pull out two right now. Well, it's the whole thing because they're grouped together. Because we're going to talk about those in just a second. And let's go in the middle with our reference right here. You can see it. It looks nice. It's pleasant again. Some coverage issues, but on the whole, came together nicely. Okay. This is the reference here, which we will talk about also in a second. But here we go. Here's the one that I was working on for the most part in this video. I have left it the way it is on purpose on some of these. This is one coat. Yeah, and I've got it, there we go. We're turned also the way it was in the photos, as you saw in the little time lapse that I did. I wish I could say there was like a critique of the paint. The paint wasn't anything better or worse than the other one. Coverage seemed roughly the same. It's a little bit rougher, especially right here. You can kind of see how the paint didn't want to cover really well at all right there. I wouldn't say the coverage is anything that's awful, but this came from a site called Goodness Finds, and I just searched succulent water or paint by numbers when I was looking for this, and I thought, okay, we'll get a couple to compare. And the whole point was that they needed to have a photo that like sold me on it that looked real, like looked kind of photorealistic. So I thought, okay, this one's great, and it was going to be fun because, dead serious, this one was a $12.99 kit. $12.99. So we've got a huge price discrepancy. I learned you get what you paid for, because there are 2 shades in this. Two shades of black. I'm going to pull them out here real quick. That you can't tell that there are 2 shades of black. It's 18 right here. I think it's 17 or 19. They were next to each other too. So like when I was doing them, yeah, here we go. 17 and 18. If I had to say, looking at these, I would say this is a slightly more cool black and this is a slightly more warm black. Maybe. They're so close. Now, in the Pink Picasso, 10 and 11 were their darks. And you can see right here, this is 10, this is 11. So you can see the difference between the 2 colors. They give you some nice depth. This just became a weird sea of black. Like there are spots that look like really cool. Like this thing up here, I think is like some of the fun, like really fun color combination. But when you put the black in, all of the fun of the other colors started disappearing. This had a lot of fun color that was possibly going to come right here with this piece. Again, kind of disappeared once we got this black here. It looks really blobby. Then I noticed, like I got to the end and I'm like, what is this supposed to be? So I had to go to the reference photo, and I'll put it up on screen right now in editing, just to figure out what this was. Because if you look at it, it's a blob. You've lost all the definition. Would I hang this up on my wall? No. No, not framed, not to look nice, not, it was a lot of time, and it looks pretty awful. I did end up using different brushes so I could get through it quickly. I wanted this one, the Pink Picasso one, to look good. I really did. I wanted it to come together. I spent the time. I was willing to do all of the coats and the coverage to get it looking good. This one, because I know that it's not going to help the overall composition, I'm not motivated to come in and make sure that like the coverage is really good here, to make sure like this is super even up here, because it's not right now. That kind of thing. And it wasn't blotchy when I painted it. Like this is how the paint dried on it. I did hit it with a little bit of matte varnish so the camera lights wouldn't make it shiny, so it was easier to see. That is basically it. And they both were, so that the paint would do well. But again, I'm just sitting here looking, and I'm even noticing right here, I missed a spot. I missed one of the whole sections right here. Do I think I'm going to go back and do it? Probably not. Because ultimately, I'm like, I'm not going to make this any better. It's not going to improve it. So, while the paint was good and all of that, what good is it if the composition stinks? So, the moral of the story is you get what you pay for. I really do think. Because the one that I got at JoAnn's, this little guy that's on a board, not on a canvas, it's smaller. It cost a little bit more. But again, composition's nice. It turned out to be something that, if it was something I would hang in my home, I would hang it. I'm not going to. It's not something it's not necessarily my style. I picked it more so because I thought the colors would go great with it. So I'm probably going to give it to my mom or somebody. But the Pink Picasso one is something that I might consider, hanging up somewhere, not just for the fun of it. It actually looks nice. It came together. It's worth hanging up. It's not just, oh, that was something I did. It may not be photorealistic, but I enjoyed working with it. I think the colors are good. I think the composition is good. I see a cohesive piece here that I can look at when it's all said and done. Is it worth that price? I don't know. This one was less, but this one I didn't have to fix paints. So I do like that I didn't have to mix paints with this. So that is it on all of these. So the moral of the story is you get what you pay for. I hope that you've enjoyed this little review as I've looked at all of these. Sorry if it seemed a little bit disjointed. I, again, move in the middle. I'm trying to get this all together. Like, I've got all this footage and everything. It's like, how do I make it work into a cohesive video? If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of those things, because it really does help this channel out as it is growing again. We're starting to get back. I'm getting back. I don't know why I'm saying we. It's just me. As I'm getting back into getting to create content again. I'm live on Saturdays. So if you join me on the Saturdays, you get to see like the work that I do for these types of projects. Like I painted the Pink Picasso one on a live stream. I worked on this one on a live stream. I'm going to be working on another project this week, so looking forward to all of that as I'm getting to compare some other items. So more videos coming in the works, more app reviews, all of that. So make sure you click that notification button so you can know when there's a new one. So I look forward to seeing you next time.